Hi everyone and welcome to a new episode of Days Podcast along with a new video. I want to thank you guys so much for liking, subscribing, viewing, watching, and listening. I truly appreciate it. We will be doing exclusive episodes on Patreon and Spotify. I have a whole list. I've been working on it. I've been making sure that certain things that we can put into perspective is there. So please bear with me. It is all there. It is all being worked on. I know I've been saying it over and over, but it's happening. But we will continue with having free episodes and just content because why not? So today we're going to be talking about 112 and their debut album. 112 is the debut album from the American R&B group 112. It was released on August 27th, 1996 as one of the first R&B records on Sean Combs' Bad Boy label. The majority of the album was produced primarily by Combs, Tim and Bob, and one of the first hitmen, Stevie J. It also included contributions from group member Darren Jones, Albie Shore, Kyle West, Arnold Hennings, and Boyz II Men vocalist Wanya Morris. The album features label mates the late Notorious B.I.G., Mace, and Faith Evans. 3 singles were released from the album: Only You, Come See Me, and Cupid. All of the singles had music videos released. Alright, so I know there was a lot to take in with that first paragraph, but yeah, 112 is legendary. They don't get talked about enough as opposed to a lot of groups nowadays because everybody nowadays is focused on clearly just one person at a time. Not everybody just somehow just can't all be great like they used to just be and be all around. Like there was a time groups, whether you felt like they were gonna go somewhere or not, they were just out there and they had a chance. Yes, I am and still will advocate being an indie artist if you decide to be, because yes, you want to support yourself and put yourself out there how you want to, and distribute yourself. Distribution wise, you know, you can do it how you want, that way, and you know, let's just look at the fact that there was just a time that people really were able to see a lot of different artists. Like it wasn't just the 90s and early 2000s or late 2000s. It was still 80s and even 70s. Like there was just all these different artists. 60s too. Okay. Originally known as Forte while in high school and still in their teens, the quartet enlisted the professional management services of Courtney Sills and Kevin Wales. Named after the Atlanta-based club 112, the group performed there in front of singers Faith Evans and Usher, along with Bad Boy founder Sean Combs. After their performance, the group became the second R&B act signed to Bad Boy behind Faith Evans, who, along with producer Chucky Thompson, recommended Combs to sign them. So they got to pretty much be in front of, figures that we know, and was able to get their debut going. According to 112 member and producer Darren Jones, the group Boyz II Men was a primary influence on their debut. The reason for their influence was due to them accepting several songs produced by Tim Kelly and Bob Robinson that were initially planned for inclusion on Boyz II Men's second album, too. Producer Bob Robinson revealed that Boyz II Men wanted Tim and Bob to produce, they wanted them to produce the majority of 2, but Motown Records president Gerald Busby felt uncomfortable with unknown producers helming a project by a group that was the biggest act in the world at the time. Oh no. Busby then sought out productions from from more established names, and as a result, Kelly and Robinson's songs, notably No, Now That We're Done and Can I Touch You, were later given to 112 for their album. Jones felt inconfident about his lead vocals while recording Now That We're Done and was surprised at the reaction to his performance. Singer Brandy, who was there with the song's co-writer Wanya Morris, caught Jones off guard when she asked him to teach her how to do the riffs and runs she heard from him. So, hey, as I'm trying to talk about an album and artistry, it's almost like I'm giving you guys insight on even other artists that I may have already talked about or soon to be talking about. Okay, let's continue. Producer Stevie J was brought into the project fresh off from his touring with Jodeci and appearing on their 1995 album, The Show, The After Party, The Hotel. So yeah, like I said, a lot of times you don't see it often because it just happens just so quickly. But a lot of people kind of got to know each other in different spaces at different times for different reasons. You kind of see that a lot with artists and even movie actors and actresses. You know, it's just a thing in the industry. Okay. And I'm not going to speak on whether it's good or bad. I'm going to speak on the fact that it happens and that a lot of times we, as consumers and fans, be wanting to know, like, is there a new album or is there a new movie? And, you know, we get it when we get it, okay? We don't get all the insight unless somebody in there tells us, I guess, you know, or, you know, somebody who was. Because there are truth seekers, and I want to speak on that too. Like, there are people out there that are truly wanting the best for everyone when it comes to their art and their safety. Speaking in recent times. So yes, continuing on. Stevie served as a mentor to Jones, who expressed a desire to become a songwriter and producer. The first single from 112, Only You, was hated by the group because of the restrained vocals, which they felt wasn't the best song to showcase their singing. According to Jones, they initially wanted Now That We're Done released as the first single, and the only thing that made them like Only You was the remix, which was also included on the album. They quickly dismissed the song and felt it wasn't great to be successful. The song about which they were indifferent became a breakout hit for them. And that happens too. Weirdly enough, there be songs that people will do and they're like, I don't like it. It can be there, but I don't like it. And then later on it's like they're performing it and realizing like it's number one. And it's like, oh well, yeah, I like it. Or better yet, not even being number one. It may have been in the top 10, top 20, whatever the case may be, but they liked it. And then it could rise from that, you know, whether it was, you know, in the top 20 or top 10. Yes, another single, Cupid, was primarily inspired by Babyface. The group wanted the songwriter producer to work on their debut, but financial issues and budget constraints prevented him from working on the album. Ooh. Okay. So, yeah, there could have been more magic in certain ways, but, you know, the money wasn't money, and that's no different damn near 30 years later. Okay? You know, people got to be out working. You can't just, no. So, Jones then felt he could write a Babyface type of song and later worked with Dallas Austin protege and Arnold Hennings on producing it. Albie Shore and Dave Hollister were called in to work on the album as well. While none of Hollister's songs made the final track listing, one of Shore's contributions, Erase the Day, was left off, while his other contribution, This Is Your Day, was included on the album. The group started recording in February 1995 and finished the album in January 1996. So literally 30 years ago, because this is as of March 1st of 2025. So literally 30 years ago, they was already starting the album, and it wasn't done until pretty much the beginning of 96. So they took all of 95 doing this album. And that happens. Like, we would hear things with artists, and I had to realize later growing up, like, these are pre-recorded vocals. They're not gonna not sound the same, but they may either sound better later or worse, because time's moving, everyone's aging. So it's just, as long as they're working on their craft, it's not that they're gonna sound as bad or as good. It's in the favor of what they do with their voice at that time. You know, everybody, you know, after a while, still holds on to their main vocals. Like, it's not even whether you don't know that that's them. Like, you know that's them. It's just in the matter of, as, you know, we all age, you know, certain notes may not hit as much or be as long, and that's okay. You know, you did it. That's what matters. And I think that's what I feel like a lot of people now try to criticize. Like, an artist can be able to be an artist still, even if they're not able to do what they used to do, and even still do what they can do. They can still do what they can do, okay? So yeah, Leo Stanley of AllMusic wrote, 112 has strong voices, and their smooth harmonies are quite seductive, making the lack of originality in their music easy to overlook. Oh. Yeah, so it was favorable, 4 stars pretty much. I think from that, they pretty much was trying to say, like, we see Voice to Men, we see New Edition, we see Jackson 5, we see, you know, if you want to take it back even further, Gap Band, or, you know, just, we see Black entertainers in groups, and even, you know, Temptations, you know, 5 Heartbeats. I mean, I can go further. I gotta think about these type of groups, because some of them I'm still learning. But a lot of times people will still feel like, oh, you know, we've heard this in some way, somehow, somewhere. And it's like, but they are them. Like, you got to give them a shot. But I think, for what it's worth, this was a good album. And I think that at the time, again, it was in the midst of a lot going on, and things were shifting, especially with rap. Okay, so because we've been talking about a lot of rap, so this was in the sense of just it, like, you know, they wanted to be able to show that they were artists in this album, and I clearly was able to see that as much as everyone else was. And yeah, let's get into the track list. So track 1 is 112 intro. Track 2 is Now That We're Done. Track 3, Pleasure and Pain. Track 4, Why interlude. Track 5, Cupid. Track 6, Call My Name. So yeah, by track 6, I'm already kind of just like, I'm enjoying the album, you know, because it's like, you hear vocals, you hear them really going off. Track 7, Come See Me, featuring Mr. Cheeks. I just miss this time. And it's not even just the music, it's just the time of the 90s. You just kind of, you had to be there. I'm sorry. Like, and of course, I'm sure anyone that was, you know, feeling like, you know, with the 2000s, you had to be there as well. And yeah, you really did have to be there with the 2000s. That I feel like the 2000s was probably like the breaking of where all those moments of whatever was going on from 2000 to 2009. By 2010, we already clearly know it's digitized. It's, well, there's receipts damn near, you know, there's not, of course there's receipts everywhere, but it's just, you know what I'm saying. It's just, there was just a sense of time with the 90s and the 2000s where it was just kind of like, you felt things didn't always have to be so, like, I don't know. It just felt there was more that was shell shocking as opposed to still being that way. But as opposed to like what you wore, what you listened to, where you went, what you like to eat, it was all just kind of just coming together. Just like, oh, and things were more affordable. Okay. Yes. So yes, track 8 is "Sexy You" interlude. Track 9, "Can I Touch You." Track 10, "I Can't Believe" featuring Faith Evans. Track 11, "Keep It Real" interlude. Track 12, "Only You" Bad Boy remix featuring the Notorious B.I.G. and Mace. Track 13, "I Will Be There." Track 14, "In Love With You." Track 15, "Just a Little While." Track 16, "Why Does." So the theme with 112, whether it's this debut and even onward, so much serenading, which is great. I think that was really what people really was looking to hear at times, like someone singing to you, singing passionately for you, and I think that's what we was wanting a lot more in the 90s. By 96 too, it was just like, early 90s, it was about, dancing and jamming and, respecting yourself. But by the mid 90s, so when I was pretty much coming in, I'm 94, but besides the point, like just by 96, 97, 98, started to get a bit more, I don't know, just things became a bit more colorful, more broadened, I think, if you will. Like, it wasn't so much like, it didn't seem as much of a, like, things was gonna be this way or that way. It was like, things are this and that, and where, for what, but besides the point. Track 17, "This Is Your Day." Track 18, "Throw It Away." No, sorry. Track 18, "Throw It All Away." Track 19, "Only You" clean radio mix featuring the Notorious B.I.G. So they clearly had the remix before the original, because that's how much they did not like the original. They said, we do not want to do this. But hey, I want to say that, as far as with, wait a minute. Yeah, I'm like, where are the chart placements? Okay, so that's one thing that I do be noticing with certain albums on Wikipedia. Like, they won't tell you a whole, like, pretty much description as much when it comes to other people or other groups. But I will say it for you guys because I can do just that. So they did chart at number 37, and they charted and that was for the Billboard 200. And then the U.S. top R&B hip hop albums, they charted at number 5. And they did went double platinum here in the U.S. So as of the chart for 1997, they was at 114 for Billboard 200, and then went to 37 for the top R&B hip hop albums chart. So over time, the album was leaving the charts because, of course, there's more albums being released in 97. So considering that, they had to, of course, come back with a second album within the next year, which is called Room 112. Go figure. So, and that's not a bad name. I'm saying that it's just go figure that they had to not just go from 112, but redefine the fact that no, we really are a group. We really are out here. Here's our second album. I can't believe y'all let us just kind of just go off the charts like this. And I can't disagree because, when it comes to marketing and sales and promotion, that plays a part too. And it also has to do with, like I said, other releases, other albums coming out. Like, who else was coming out in '96? I gotta say, this same day. Hold on, cause you got you. Hold on, y'all. Before we finish, make sure to see. I know at times I like to just talk with y'all and get y'all going on things. So yes, 1 in a Million by Aaliyah was released August 13th, 2 weeks prior. So there were already people out going off and that's and you know what, I'm glad that, you know, all these albums were coming out back to back, because it let people know, like, no, these people are out here, like, yes, get into them. So yeah, guys, I want to thank you guys so much for listening and watching, and we will be back with more.